Hello and welcome all of you to my YouTube channel, Animals and Pets with Partha. Well, today we talk about the heritage, the legacy of the dog world in India. The dog game in India started hundreds of years ago. Well, in the recorded history, the Britishers started it in 1896. Which would be one of the oldest kennel clubs in the world. As everybody knows, there were a lot of Britishers staying here, and British ruled India for a few hundred years. And so, wherever they ruled, the Britishers started their own the culture and the hobbies that they pursued in their own country. They actually brought it along with them to the countries where they stayed and ruled. So the culture of dogs, the purebred dogs, was actually initiated by the British in this country. In Calcutta, in the olden days, there were greyhound racing, and the memory of that greyhound race course still lives in this city. But then that greyhound race course has been converted into a housing complex. But the name, the greyhound race course, still remains there in Behala. There were plenty of British judges and who actually ran the kennel club here, and there were a lot of Rajas and the Maharajas at that time who had entry to these British clubs. And of course, the elite Indians also were part of the dog world. Now, when they left in 1947, they left behind some wonderful people, very knowledgeable people, who actually was a part of the dog game in the British era. My mentor, Mr. R.P. Mitter, when I met him in 1975, he was the vice chairman of the Kennel Club of India, and the chairman at that point of time was the Maharaja of Jaideep Singh of Badia. Well, slowly the dog game started growing, and of course by then we had already seen a big split in the dog world. We had the Kennel Club of India, and also we had the Indian National Kennel Club. But that did not cause any problems. There were some fantastic shows organized by the Indian National Kennel Club in the city of Calcutta by Mr. Dilip Bose. His elder brother, Mr. Ajay Bose, stayed with the Kennel Club of India. And the Indian National Kennel Club, the main part was in Bombay, and it was run by a lot of very great dog lovers. And even in the present also, there are very nice people who run it, which Firoz Zaveri and the people in the Indian National Kennel Club in Bombay has been operating in a consistent manner over these years and have had a legacy also. Well, what happened was very unfortunate. That happened in the wake of a new dog world in India. As the dog game started gaining in popularity, and there was a boom in the dog industry, I would say. There were lots and lots of dog shows that spread across the country over the years. And in the initial stages, of course, there were only few clubs which were originally started by the British in the earlier days. There was the Bombay Kennel Club, the Calcutta Kennel Club, the Mysore Kennel Club. There was, of course, the South of India Kennel Club, and there may be a couple of few more kennel clubs that were started by the British. Then, of course, new clubs started being formed, and the Kennel Club of India started growing stupendously across the country. The club initially when I came in, it was based in the Nilgiris in Kannur and was run by Mrs. O. Goldsmith. Mrs. O. Goldsmith was helped by Mr. Thomas Matthews, who was popularly known as Baba Matthews. He was a great help to Mrs. O. Goldsmith, and not only that, he also was a very good judge. The other personalities that we had seen in those times were the royalties like the Maharani of Baroda, who used to show in the Indian National Kennel Club, which had split from the Kennel Club of India, and they had started a kennel club in Bombay. And then they had a lot of royalties who were part of their dog world, of their club also. But that did not really, there was no animosity among those clubs. And there was a very friendly relationship. And I remember regularly visiting the Indian National Kennel Club show in Calcutta, which was run by Mr. Dilip Bose, and his elder brother, Mr. Ajay Bose, was part of the Calcutta Kennel Club. Anyway, the Kennel Club, slowly the dog game started developing. The club in that time was situated in Kannur in the Nilgiris and was run by Mrs. Goldsmith, who actually got the mantle from her late husband, Major Goldsmith, who used to run the Kennel Club in the earlier days. And Mrs. Goldsmith, till her last days, she lived in Kannur and ran the Kennel Club in a wonderful manner from the foothills of the Nilgiris. And the person helping him was Mr. Thomas Matthews, a very capable person, a very wonderful judge, and a good human being. Well, they were the people who I met when I went to Kannur, and they made me a member of the club. I was most welcome. And not only that, later on in life, they sort of encouraged me to become a judge. And in 1985, I was able to become an all-beach judge in the Kennel Club of India. The dog game started growing with leaps and bounds. It spread in many cities of India. Earlier it was only restricted to a few cities and places like in South India, it was in the Nilgiris, in Uttarakhand. Then you had in Bombay, the Bombay Presidency Kennel Club, and of course the INKC started with its headquarters in Bombay, which was the other club and which ran the biggest show in those days, bigger than the BPKC. The Bombay Presidency Kennel Club was run by a wonderful lady who was president, Mrs. Perrin B. Albles. And the other people in Calcutta, there was of course my mentor, Mr. R.P. Mita. Then you had Mr. Ajoy Bose, Mr. Ashok Mukherjee was also, they were all very important personalities of the dog world in this city of Calcutta. I must make a mention at this point of time that in earlier days of the British era, we even had greyhound racing in India. In Calcutta, we had a greyhound race course in Behala. And the greyhound race course still exists, but it is it's not meant for greyhound racing anymore. It's been converted into a big housing complex. Well, the purebred dog game, the confirmation show started growing. And the Tatars used to have wonderful shows, and then the Calcutta Kennel Club of course grew, and our entries were 500 to 600. We couldn't take any more, and we would have to close entries early so that we could not accommodate or give facilities for benching of those dogs in our club premises. Similarly, dog games started growing in other parts of India. And I remember in 1995 at the national show in Delhi, held at the Talkatoora Stadium, which was the president of the show was none other than Mr. Ashutosh Dayal Sharma, who was a great dog lover. And I must make a mention at this point of time that his father was at that time the President of India. And Ashutosh took a lot of interest in dogs, and he had some wonderful, wonderful breeds like boxers, and then later, of course, Alaskan Malamutes and things like that. Well, it was 1,200 dogs at the Talkatore Stadium in New Delhi, and I was a part of it. I was fortunate to have been given the responsibility of stewarding under some great personalities like Michael Quinney, and of course there was this German judge who judged German Shepherds, and it was a huge, huge entry of German Shepherds, very competitive, and I took on the responsibility, or given the responsibility, of being a steward. But anyway, those are all history. And then of course we went through a phase. Less we talk about it is better for us. It leaves, if we do go into that, it will leave a very bad taste among the dog lovers of this country. What we experience now, if I say to someone, the charging bull of the Indian dog world, or the syndicate, everyone knows who I'm referring to, or the cheat of the dog world in India, everyone knows whom we are referring to. Now the time has come that we must all get together to bring the glory back to the Indian dog game. The legacy, the heritage that was left by the Britishers and by the great people whom we have seen had nurtured this sport, and it was considered a very prestigious sport in this country, has been disgraced. Not only disgraced in this country, but disgraced all around the world. And it's not me that I'm saying, it's just you have to keep your ears and just listen, and you will come to know that what this dog game has been brought to. But anyway, let us go forward and let us pledge ourselves that we are going to rebuild this game again. We are going to sort of bring the glory back to this sport. We are going to give opportunities to everybody in this country. Our dog game, our dog world is not small anymore. We can have thousands of entries at big shows in this country without fail. Only we need to give honest judges. We only need the infrastructure. We need to build a public following. We need to build a reputation that we have lost. Dog game, people in India know that it is a place where you pay money and you win. And that is what has been going on. About most of the judges who've been coming in the recent past have been coming from Europe, and barring 10 or 20% of judges who are really honest and good judges, rest of the judges have been accepting favors and money and shopping money to come to India and put up dogs that they have been told to, which is very unfortunate. And all this, the manipulation and the architect of all this is of course the syndicate. Let us get over this. Let us not listen about heritage. The heritage is not limited to the syndicate. There are a lot of people who only know that the syndicate is the last word. They have knelt down, they have sold their souls to him. They have bent down, they have knelt down and begged to become judges. That they thought by paying, by doing favors to the syndicate, if they somehow get a judging license, they can walk in the ramp of the dog world, which is the dog show ground, wearing a cowboy cap, and they can call themselves, great judges. It's not easy. Judging dogs is a lot of hard work. One has to develop that, must do it passionately, must have a sort of a deep interest in this sport, without which you cannot do it. Look at our cricketers. You cannot be a great cricketer if you are not passionate. If you do not put your heart and soul into it. You cannot win the hearts of the exhibitors if you do not put in your heart and soul into your judging. So it is, if you are judging for just money, if you are just coming to this sport to earn money, it is only going to limit yourselves and then in a short while everything is going to crash down. It will not hold. That is what happened to the Indian dog world. We must open up. We must give opportunities to the entire dog-loving fraternity of this country to be a part of it. We must not divide the dog lovers. All the clubs must be welcome under one platform. We must build up a club or a platform and an organization which will take all these divisive factors under one roof. It is going to be a huge dog world. And we can slowly earn the confidence of the people to bring them into dog shows if we give them fair judges and a fair atmosphere. There are a lot of people who are now sort of dependent upon the dog world for their bread and butter. It is a livelihood to many. Unless we have a healthy dog world, they are not going to benefit. Nobody is going to benefit if we do not nurture this. If we are going to be selfish and we only think of ourselves, that we will earn the money, we will get in and fix shows and manipulate everything and take everything for ourselves, we can never build a healthy dog world. So, I appeal to everyone and to all dog lovers that we are going to soon come together. Let us keep our minds open. Let us think that how we can all come together and build a dog world that is accommodative, that encourages people to sort of come with their dogs and get a fair assessment. Then the past glory of the Indian dog game must be brought back. And thank you all my listeners who have been with me for so long, over 70, 80 or more episodes that I have already done. And I will continue to do. I will continue to try and bring the dog lovers under one platform. I am sure that we should all consider even having an archive where we should all these great people who have nurtured this sport in the earlier days. We cannot forget them. Their achievement must be recorded. Their photographs must be in the archive. And people must come to know about the history of the dog game of this country, which was so rich and vibrant and one of the oldest in the world. Thank you and bye-bye. And please do subscribe, share and like my Animals and Pets with Partha. See you soon in my next episode. Thank you.